All right, so new Tome of Evolution. It's a split tome. This is the first of these that we've seen, which means that it's giving, instead of 2 of a single trait, it's giving 1 and 1. It's interesting too that they've added just a random level 1, a tier 1 tome, which means they may add other tomes, which is kind of nice. It means this whole system is designed to be highly modifiable, which is kind of cool. Useful rejuvenation here. Target unit heals for 18 temp HP and gains strengthened. Unit with evolves have the effect doubled and gain resurgence until the end of combat. Okay, so this is a combat spell. Resurgence is till the end of combat is really interesting, right? Which is if you win the fight and it dies, you get it back. Now, I don't know when this is going to be most helpful, because if you're winning the fight, do you care? I guess this is when you're out fighting the AI and you want to keep a unit alive and you know it's going to die and you have a spare spell. This is sometimes useful. I mean, 36 healing and 2 strengthened is pretty strong versus evolved, but it's not really strong enough to justify casting a spell for except in the early game. But it's a tier 1 spell, so maybe that's fine. Maybe you get a decent tank out of here. You can be aggressive with the tank because if it dies, that's fine, and you can use it to maybe creep higher level mobs at an accelerated rate because you will lose the unit, but you'll get it back, kind of deal. Slither hatchling. It's a skirmisher with venom spit, and venom spit is 3-turn cooldown, 90% poison, range attack with Draconic rage, so it gets damage when it's low HP. I had to see the tier 2 version of this animal. It doesn't seem very good to me, the tier 1. Skirmishers are okay, but what you want with skirmishers is low cooldown on their secondary ability or really powerful rider effects, and poison is 3-turn poison cooldown is neither good cooldown nor a good effect. So, all right. Rapid evolution enchantment. This one's cool. Unit enchantment for all evolving units that gives them 20% experience from combat and gives them a new ability here. Slip away. If tier 1 or tier 2, healing them once per battle if their hit points would be reduced to 0. I think this used to be revived, so this was actually a slight nerf from the original implementation of this in the patch notes. So that's still pretty cool though. So one of the issues with evolving units was the tier 1 version of the evolving unit was so goddamn squishy that it was often very difficult to keep them alive. So you ended up having to do this really annoying thing where you'd like sit them in the back of the fight and just not let them be a part of the fight at all because you didn't want them to die, because you wanted them to get experience so they could level up and evolve into more interesting things. So this allows you to not have to do that quite as much, which is great. I wonder how much it heals them. Healing them once per battle if their hit points would be reduced to 0. I think it's a full heal, a half heal, a single point of healing. It's kind of impactful because if it's like a big heal, you could actually deliberately use this to tank for your team. So you could be more aggressive in the camps you're killing because you are deliberately getting your units killed and having them pop back. Either way, the experience for evolving is kind of interesting. So we'll see. Do revived units retain experience gain? I assume they do, but I don't know that. All right. Summon. Previously, there's only one revive unit before this, right? The single revive unit that I'm aware of was the Nature Affinity Spirit Wolf, and he was pretty garbage. Mostly because that unit type isn't very interesting. All right, summon Wyvern fledgling. This is another of the... So Slither hatchling is a unit you can build, and this is the summon version, okay? What is it? It's a fighter. Fighters are pretty bad. And it is just a 12-point melee strike attack with Draconic rage. Pretty low HP. Does it fly? 32 movement is... I guess I need to look at these units because we don't get quite enough information on this card, do we? We're going to actually have to pull up the unit list and have a look. Again, I want to see what the bigger wyverns want. The bigger wyverns are. The whole point of evolving is to get the better unit, not the earlier unit, right? And Draconic Vitality. Target race is imbued with dragon-like vitality, granting them 3 HP per unit rank, and for heroes, this is capped at level 5. That's cool. I think HP is a surprisingly decent stat. A lot of the powerful fights that I am seeing are based around the hero just killing everything with spells. So giving leveled units some ability to withstand that is kind of nice. That's kind of cool. All right, what is the Shepherd ability? This is a Novice Hero Support skill. So Novice is the first tier, right? It goes Novice, Adept, Expert, Master, I think, is the tiers of this. And you have to do 2 from each previous tier to get to the next tier. So this is available immediately. And all units in this with Evolve have 2 defense, 1 resistance, and minus 20% upkeep. This is okay. Probably because I think support is basically not usable as a tree compared to the two other trees. But this is early enough that you can probably grab this super early and then respec out of it before you actually do any real battles that you care about, like battles versus big armies. So that's okay. Certainly the unit upkeep reduction is very useful for especially the mana versions of this, right? When you're trying to evolve wind elementals or whatever they're called, the range resistant teleporting lightning ones, because the mana upkeep gets pretty heavy when you do a ton of these. So, all right, it's kind of cool. All right, we'll pick it just for shits and giggles. And here's the Dragon Lord. So how do the Dragon Lords compare to the Champs and the Wizard Kings? So this got nerfed. That got nerfed. So they still have the mana income. These guys are still getting experience relation and gold and stability, which is actually pretty powerful abilities, the champion abilities. The Dragon Lord gains extra gold with Dragon Horde, where tier 1 items give 1 gold. These are items you have that are not equipped. And this is per turn income. This isn't very good, is it? Especially tier 1s. Think of how long that takes to pay itself back to take it as a passive upkeep, like a turn income. I don't know, maybe it's okay. The tier 2 and the tier 3 are much more exciting, although presumably your tier 2 and tier 3 items you want equipped. I don't know if this is a real thing, this Dragon Horde. It's kind of weird to incentivize you to go collect loot and then not use it. Dragon Lords have 30 gold upkeep and cannot equip most hero items. What is normal hero upkeep? 20? When they just changed normal hero upkeep, it's now percent based, right? That's if you're over. Normal hero upkeep is just 20, right? If you're not over your hero cap. So to pay for your dragon, you need 10 tier 1 items or 3 tier 2 items that you're not using. Dragon Lords have access to powerful hero skills and transformations. Are we sure they're powerful? I guess I don't know yet. That's the whole point of checking, I guess, but they don't. I don't know if they seem that powerful to me so far.